Hey, what's up, C-Maniac Nation? C-Man, fresh out the AMC here in Stamford after finally seeing Ballerina, and oh, good God, was this massive John Wick fan massively happy with this movie. Oh, Ballerina is such a freaking good time, and it's one of those things where there's a lot of pressure on this movie, because if you are a fan of the John Wick world, and not just John himself, this is a universe that is coming to the end of its run with Keanu Reeves as John Wick. You know, he's mentioned like his body can't keep doing this and he doesn't have too many left, even though he'd love to play the character forever. And if we want to stay in this world, we need something to pass it to. Well, Ballerina proves you that you could pass the baton to Len Wiseman, to Ana de Armas, to writer Shay Hatten, and we are in a very, very good place and in very good, capable hands. This movie has John Wick DNA coursing through it the whole movie, but it also finds lanes that make it feel like its own things, and that is a combo shout out to both writer Shay Hatten and director Len Wiseman. And what I love that Hatten does with the script is that he gives Eve a full backstory. We don't get that with John, and it works very well for that. But if you're going to get yourself connected to a new character, knowing where she comes from and seeing the parallels between her and John's stories, like both in coming up, but also the story that she's given. Like, it's, I have some revenge to handle, that's going to get me in trouble. Like, there is a little bit of a formula that's being applied here that works very well, and it's not the same story. It's something different. It just has things that parallel John's story. And I think that's really cool if you're building a character that you want to pass this off to. The other thing that I really dig that Hatten does here is the idea of leaning into fight like a girl. If you didn't know, Ana de Armas is a woman. She is much smaller than Keanu, and probably not as strong, and certainly not as strong as some of the people she'll be going up against. And that, mild spoilers, is a little bit of a bump in the road when she's training, and her teacher is like, no, you have to shift the perspective. Get them to fight on your ground. Fight like a girl. And I tell you what, fighting like a girl can be pretty freaking badass. And it's just a cool thematical element that I liked coursing through the movie and gave Len Wiseman something to really lean into when it came to crafting these action sequences. And I gotta say, these are some of the most fun, well-executed action sequences that we have in the John Wick franchise. Like, this could be one of the most fun movies in the entire franchise. Like, I don't know if I could put it above 4, but I might be able to put it above 1 through 3 on fun alone, because the brand of action is a little bit more over the top. There's a little bit more comedy, and that's different in its flavor of humor than John. And how Wiseman just navigates all that stuff is excellent. And his vision and his eye, you can tell he meshes with Chad Stahelski, and that visual feel that you need in a John Wick movie is everywhere, whether it be super saturated, colorful lights that just light up entire rooms and set pieces, right down to the hand-to-hand choreography, down to the gunplay, down to some of the editing choices, to the text that comes on screen. Like, Wiseman knows how to play with that DNA really well, and he crafts really visually engaging action sequences. But the other thing that he does, and some of this, shout out to Shay Hatten, it feels like Eve is kind of in a super hard video game where she's got like no ammunition. She has to kind of continually be coming up with her next move or finding things to use as weapons because of different things that happen throughout the course of the film. And all of that just creates set pieces that are unlike what we've seen in John Wick, but have that style to them. And like, the things that stand out for me, there's a section where she's like basically only got grenades. Super fun. There is a section that reminded me of the knife fight in John Wick 3, where there's a bunch of plates. That's all I'll say about that one, but that one's a lot of fun. And then the one that pops, the one that everyone's gonna be talking about, the freaking flamethrower sequence. I've never seen anyone use a flamethrower like a gun in a movie, and that was wild. But everything they come up with, I mean, there's some cool car elements, there's some great moments between Eve and John, and all of that stuff from Hatten and Wiseman is built so well. The other thing that's kind of cool here is Wiseman's been very public about talking about how Stahelski's been very hands-on. Like, he was very involved. You could tell just in watching the movie that these guys got along well. And unfortunately, I guess Wiseman got sick for a little bit of time, so Stahelski stepped in and filmed some of the action sequences. And I think that's really cool and really important for Ana de Armas, because it gives her a deeper layer of understanding the John Wick universe and had Chad sees things. So getting her to work with him and Keanu, huge upsides for her as far as building out this world and continuing the universe. And then when it comes to Ana de Armas, I mean, she's fantastic in everything she does, but man, has she really found a lane that she crushes in when it comes to action. I said that after James Bond. I said that after that bad Gray Man movie. And it's so nice to see her in a spot where she can lead and really flourish in those sequences. And her commitment to the character adds depth and emotion in the more dramatic moments. And she just holds her own action-wise the whole movie. And yes, for sure, there's definitely some stunt work in there by stunt performers, but the combo of that group, it matches the level that you want these movies to be at, and she is just absolutely flawless. Then, of course, you got John Wick in this bad boy, and I'm not gonna lie, he was in it a little bit less than I was expecting, but I like that the movie takes place during and after 3, and where he pops up makes sense, and the amount of time he's on screen is probably the perfect amount of time where you don't go, oh man, John's become a crutch. Like, they're leaning on John too much. This is Ana de Armas' vehicle, and John shows up in just a pertinent way, and Keanu, as always, absolutely crushes. And then rest of the cast, I love that you're able to bring in people like Ian McShane, Angelica Houston, and R.I.P. the great Lance Reddick one more time. Adds more legitimization to the universe and being in world, really makes it feel like we are in that story. And like I said, when it crosses over with Parabellum, you feel that, like, yeah, you're there. And I love getting to spend more time at the Riscaroma Ballerina School at the beginning of the movie. And then as we move through and we find our main villain, Gabriel Byrne, as always, is fantastic. And I really just liked how he operated throughout the course of the movie. And then one other thing that was kind of new is there was like somebody for Eve to kind of help out, so to speak. And Norman Reedus' character is one that worked really well in that respect and added a different layer where it's like, Eve is a little bit different than John. And I liked what they did with Reedus' character and just what it meant to Eve. And that's the thing that I love the most when it comes to the characters and how Eve plays with them. Everybody that shows up means something to building that character. And that character is in a place now where if we get a sequel, whoo, man, we could be in a really great place because De Armas, Wiseman, Hatten, they are all locked in this world. And this is the next thing I want to see keep moving forward in the John Wick universe. Ballerina was excellent.
See, Maniac Nation, you look nervous. Is it the scars? Would you like to know where I got them? No? Well, then maybe you'd like to see another video with the Seaman. How about up here or over here? And if you really dig the Seaman, well, then show him a little love right over there.